right, so today we are going to just kind of review persuasive writing, talk about the thesis statement, which kind of guides our entire big answer to which is better, the book or the movie. And then we're going to practice writing one persuasive paragraph together, so you can kind of watch how I do this. So you want to copy this as I write it, and then you will try for one of your other ideas, or one of your other reasons rather why the book or the movie is better than the other. So the first thing is we want to talk about the thesis statement. This helps guide our entire essay or our entire speech or whatever it is that we are writing. So our thesis statement, this is the answers, the prompt, right? So for this up here, it's going to answer this prompt, which is better, the book or the movie, and explains briefly why. So for example, what we would do here is I would answer this prompt. So I would restate my answer, all right, or restate the question in my thesis statement. And then I would give my 3 reasons why that is my answer. So I'm going to do the movie because that's what we've talked, or sorry, the book. That's what we've talked about the most, the book being better. So I would restate it with the book, Freak the Mighty, is better than the movie, The Mighty, because the book has more details, better scenes, and is more intense. So remember, at any time as I'm writing, you can feel free to pause the video and catch up with what I've written. So feel free to, as I go through this, to catch up here. So if you'll notice, I've got my reason number 1, it's got more details. Reason number 2, it's got better scenes. And reason number 3, it's more intense. And I know some of my classes, we said that it has more intense feelings. So we could say intense feelings or emotions or whatever we want to say here. I'm just going to leave it as that. So if you'll notice here, these are my 3 points. 1, 2, 3. So if I was finishing this up, my first, I would have 1 paragraph about this with some evidence to support it, an explanation. 1 paragraph about this with some evidence and explanation. And then 1 paragraph about this with some evidence and explanation. So now I'm going to show you how to write a paragraph, my first paragraph, which is going to be more details. So paragraph number 1, or reason number 1, is that the book has more details. So I'm going to start with a transition word, and I'm just going to keep it basic. First, the book has more details than the movie. Okay, so this is my topic sentence. This tells me that my whole paragraph is going to be about this reason on why the book is better. So I'm not going to talk about either of these other ones. I'm only going to talk about how it has more details. Now, the reason I'm using from my brainstorming that I did, slash I did with a lot of you already, is I'm going to use the fact that the book gives more context, the details of Max's background. All right, so the details that he gives of Max growing up, his mom not being there, basically the first 7 chapters of the book. Okay, so that's going to be what I'm going to do for my details. All right, you could even do the scenes like the kidnapping scene or the you know, some of us talked about the ending scene with the hospitalization. We could do any of those. And actually, even as I'm looking back at my notes, I think I am going to do one of those too. So I'm actually going to do the end scene with the hospitalization and Freak's death, because that was a lot different, and how Max found out about that and what that kind of looked like. It was a lot more detailed than the book. So actually, I'm not going to do that first part. So here we go. So I'm going to again use another transition. So for example, I'm going to give an example from the book. All right, remember, I'm talking about the book being better. The book being better. So I want to make sure my evidence is from the book. I'll explain the movie, all right, but I want to talk about the book. So for example, at the end of the book, Max finds out from the nurses that Freak has died. The scenes and details that follow show Max running from the hospital to the medical center, breaking windows, or a window, and the police arriving. Dr. Spivak even shows up and talks to Max more about Freak's death. All right, so I've kind of explained what happened in the book, what details were more than the movie. Now I got to make sure I talk about the movie, right? So in the movie, all right, however, another transition. In the movie, Graham briefly, very quickly, tells Max that Freak died, and he only runs, let's move this up a little bit here, and then he only runs to the laundromat. Laundromat is actually how you spell that, not laundry, right? It is over very quickly, whereas in the book, it was several pages of details. Okay. I'm going to finish that with some sort of conclusion sentence. So it was over very quickly, whereas in the book it had several details. And this kind of concludes my paragraph. Sorry, I don't need another sentence because my paragraph finishes here. I reference back to, I make sure that I'm talking about how the book has more details than the movie. It was over very quickly in the movie, right? Whereas in the book, it was several pages of details. Okay. The book, this is a reason why that the book is better than the movie. All right. I don't need to repeat that line. This is why the book is better than the movie. I don't need to repeat that over and over again. I've already said it. At this point, I would then start another paragraph where I would talk about the book having better scenes. All right. So these are the lots of details that took place in that end scene. There's lots more information, lots more things than just Graham telling him and then him running to the laundromat and kind of like, so sad. So when we are writing a persuasive paragraph, all right, so the key tips, number 1, make sure we've got a topic sentence that tells us our first reason. Number 2, make sure we have evidence from the book. Number 3, make sure we talk about the other side. So in this case, the movie. And then finally, we want to make sure that there are that there is a conclusion that connects back to that topic sentence. It can be its own conclusion sentence, but if you reference both things that you said in your topic sentence in your final sentence, you do not need another conclusion sentence. All right, now you guys need to try one on your own. So let's get to it.